Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. The facility was cold and sterile, its polished metal walls reflecting dim light from overhead panel. Deadpool didn't care much about the architecture, though he was more concerned about what he could get his hands on. Let's see, he muttered, rummaging through an array of high-tech devices. Super laser gun, too flashy. Some kind of mind control helmet overdone? Wait, what's this little beauty? His gloved fingers hovered over a small device that looked like a cross between a pocket watch and a grenade. He grinned. Oh, I do love shiny things. Before he could decide whether to poke it, pull a pin, or eat it, a familiar voice broke the silence. Wait. Deadpool spun around, mock surprise plastered across his masked face. Oh, hey, Wanda, fancy meeting you here. Come to stop me from making terrible life decisions too late. I've already activated something. He gestured to the device in his hand, now glowing with ominous blue energy. Scarlet Witch, her red cloak billowing slightly from the draft in the room, frowned. You don't even know what that is, do you? Deadpool shrugged. Doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll be fine. I have a healing factor. Remember? Before Wanda could respond, the device in Deadpool and hand began to whir loudly. The air around them crackled with energy, and suddenly the walls of the facility seemed to bend and warp as though reality itself was being twisted out of shape. Oh, Wade, what did you do? Wanda's soft voice carried a note of genuine concern. Deadpool looked down at the device, now vibrating uncontrollably. Whoop. And then in a flash of light, everything vanished. Deadpool awoke to the sound of battle. His head throbbed, and as he sat up, he realized they were no longer in the sterile facility. Around him, smoke and debris filled the air, and in the distance, he could hear the familiar sounds of energy blasts and metal clashing against metal. Well, that's one way to travel, he muttered, pulling himself to his feet. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 lost points for the headache. Wanda stood nearby, already on her feet, her hands glowing with her signature red energy. Where are we? She asked, her eyes scanning the horizon. Deadpool surveyed the scene. They seemed to be in some kind of war zone. Skyscrapers crumbled in the distance, and above them the sky was an unsettling shade of green. It looked like Earth, but not any Earth he was familiar with. Then again, that wasn't he saying much. Do you know? But I bet it's not Disneyland. He took a step forward, only to stumble over a piece of debris. Wanda's eyes narrowed. Something's wrong here. This place, it feels off. Yeah, no kidding, Deadpool replied, pulling out his swords from their scabbards. I mean, there's that general lack of Mickey Mouse, for one. Before Wanda could respond, a shadow loomed over them. Deadpool looked up just in time to see a familiar figure descending from the sky. Oh, he muttered. It was Iron Man, or at least it used to be. The suit was twisted, warped, with jagged metal protruding at odd angles. The helmet was cracked, revealing a face underneath that looked wrong. Tony Stark's skin was gray, his eyes sunken and glowing with a sickly green light. His once confident smirk was now a grotesque sneer. Oh, great, Deadpool quipped. Zombie Iron Man, because regular Iron Man wasn't hard enough. Wanda stepped forward, her hands raised. We need to get out of here. Wait. Yeah, no argument there, Deadpool said, backing up as the corrupted Iron Man landed with a thud. But I am guessing Tin Man here isn't he gonna let us just walk away? Iron Man raised his arm, a pulse cannon charging up, destroy. He growled in a voice that didn't quite sound like Tony Stark. Well, that's a little on the nose. Deadpool said, unsheathing his katanas, but I respect the simplicity. Before Iron Man could fire, Wanda unleashed a wave of scarlet energy, sending the corrupted hero flying backward. We need to figure out what's going on, she said, her voice tense. This isn't the world we know. Deadpool shrugged, ducking behind a piece of debris as Iron Man recovered and took to the air again. Yeah, no kidding. I am betting this is one of those alternate dimension things happens to me all the time. Wanda turned to him, her expression serious. We need to find a way out. This world, it's a wrong. Deadpool gave her a thumbs up, way ahead of you, witchy. But first, we gotta deal with the fact that Tin Man over there is trying to turn us into Swiss cheese. Iron Man swooped down again, but this time Deadpool was ready. He leaped into the air, twisting his body as he brought his swords down onto the suit. Sparks flew as the blades clashed against the metal, but before Deadpool could land a solid hit, Iron Man's arm swung out, sending him crashing into the ground. Oof. Deadpool groaned, his healing factor already kicking in to mend the broken bones. Gonna feel that one in the morning. Wanda wasn't too far behind, her magic crackling as she launched another attack. This time she focused on Iron Man's core, hoping to disrupt the power source that was keeping him alive, or whatever passed for alive in this twisted version of him. The suit began to malfunction, sparks flying from the chest plate as it powered down. Wanda, now would be a good time to do some of that fancy reality bending stuff. Deadpool called out, pulling himself to his feet. Wanda didn't need to be told twice. She extended her hands, her eyes glowing red as she concentrated. The air around them began to shimmer, and for a moment it felt as though the entire world was holding its breath. Then with a surge of energy, the ground beneath them cracked open, and Iron Man was swallowed by the earth, disappearing from sight. Deadpool let out a low whistle. Impressive. Remind me never to piss you off. Wanda didn't respond immediately, her gaze still fixed on the spot where Iron Man had vanished. After a moment, she turned to Deadpool, her expression grim. This isn't just an alternate version of Earth. It's corrupted. Whatever happened here, it's spreading. We need to get out before it consumes us too. Deadpool scratched his head. Yeah, that sounds bad, but how do we fix it? Do we need, like, a multiverse plumber? Wanda frowned, glancing down at the device Deadpool had accidentally activated. This thing is connected to the anomalies in each universe. If we can find the source of the corruption, we might be able to reverse it and get back home. Deadpool grinned. Oh, so it's like a video game. Beat the boss, save the world, and go home. I can work with that. Wanda gave him a sideways glance. It's not a game, Wade. These worlds are real. The people here, they're suffering. Deadpool started shrugging. Yeah, I know, but if I don't tell my jokes, I'll just cry, and no one wants to see that. Wanda softened slightly. Let's focus on finding the core of the device in this universe. It should lead us to the source of the corruption. Right, Deadpool said, dusting himself off. Lead the way, witchy, I am. Right behind you. They began their trek through the ruined city, dodging fallen debris and avoiding the occasional patrol of corrupted Avengers. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the very air around them was growing denser, more oppressive. Finally, they reached the heart of the city, a massive, twisted version of Stark Tower, now overgrown with dark tendrils of energy that pulsed and writhed like living things. Let me guess, Deadpool said. Squinting up at the tower, that's where we need to go. Wanda nodded. Accent the epicenter of the corruption. If we can destroy whatever's silently causing it, we should be able to restore this world and maybe get one step closer to going home. Deadpool unsheathed his swords again, twirling them casually. Well then, let's go knock on the door and ask them to kindly stop ruining the multiverse. With that, the two heroes made their way toward the tower, knowing that the battle ahead would be their most difficult yet. Deadpool and Wanda crept through the desolate city, their oppressive energy thickening as they approached the twisted Stark Tower. The corrupted building loomed overhead, jagged tendrils of black energy pulsing rhythmically, as if it had a heartbeat. Each step toward it felt like they were being pulled deeper into a nightmare. Great, more creepy tentacle things. This is turning into one of those Japanese animes, sorry, Deadpool muttered, twirling his swords in his hands as they approached the entrance. Wanda glanced at him, her face set in a grim line. Eye focus, wait. We don't know what's waiting for us inside. This tower is the epicenter. Whatever said corrupting this universe is in there. Yeah, I get it. Deadpool sighed to go and fight some overpowered baddie and save the day. Just another Tuesday. He grinned behind his mask, but his grip tightened on the hilt of his swords. Even he could sense how wrong everything felt. They pushed open the massive rusted doors of the tower, and as soon as they stepped inside, they were greeted by a chilling silence. The interior of the tower was an amalgamation of twisted metal and organic growth. Tendrils of dark energy snaked along the walls, pulsating like veins. The air was thick with tension, as though the entire building was watching them, waiting for them to make a move. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber, distorted and hollow trill. You shouldn't have come here. Wanda tensed, raising her hands as her scarlet magic crackled in the air. Share you, show yourself. Deadpool's sighs darted around, his instincts telling him to be ready for anything. Oh boy, this is going to be one of those big reveal moments, isn't it? From the shadows, a figure emerged. At first glance, it looked like Tony Stark, but this version of Stark was different. His face was gaunt, his eyes glowing with the same sickly green energy that had corrupted the rest of this world. His armor was no longer sleek and polished. Instead, it was a grotesque fusion of metal and the same dark energy that ran through the tower. "I am what's left of this world," Stark said, his voice cold and emotionless. "When the multiverse began to fracture, I tried to stop it, but the power dot consumed me now. I am one with it." Wanda stepped forward, her magic flaring brighter. "Terra, the source of the corruption. If we destroy you, we can restore this world." Corrupted, Stark chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down Deadpool's spine. "Restore it? There's nothing left to restore. This world is beyond saving, and soon all others will follow. You are too late." Yeah, villain monologue. Heard it all before. Deadpool interrupted, stepping beside Wanda. "Look, Tony, or whatever you are now. Can we skip to the part where we kick your corrupted butt?" Stark's eyes glowed brighter, and the tendrils of dark energy surrounding the room began to writhe and twist more violently. "You really think you can stop me? I control this entire universe now." Without warning, the tendrils shot out toward them. Deadpool reacted instantly, slicing through them with his katanas as they lunged at him. Wanda, her face set with determination, unleashed a wave of scarlet energy, blasting back the writhing mass of darkness. "You handle the tentacle things. I'll deal with Stark." Wanda shouted over the chaos. Deadpool grinned beneath his mask. "Oh, sure, leave me with the freaky monster vines. Don't worry, I got this." He dodged and weaved through the onslaught of tendrils, his swords cutting through them with precision. But no matter how many he sliced down, more seemed to take their place. The air crackled with tension, the dark energy pressing down on him like a physical force. Meanwhile, Wanda focused her power on Stark. Her magic surged through the air, wrapping around him in a tight coil of red light. "You're wrong, not Tony Stark," she said, her voice filled with both fury and sorrow. "You're just a twisted version of what he used to be." Stark didn't flinch. His body flickered as though he were both solid and immaterial at once. "Maybe I am not him anymore," Hay replied, his voice cold and distant. "But I have his memories, his regrets, his mistakes, and now I will destroy everything he couldn't say." Wanda gritted her teeth, pouring more power into her spell. "Frill, I want you, let you die." With a roar, she unleashed a torrent of energy, driving it straight into Stark's head chest. For a moment, it looked like the attack had worked. Stark's body shimmered, the dark energy around him fluctuating wildly. But then, with a low, sinister laugh, Stark absorbed the magic into himself. "You think you can overpower me in my own world? You are nothing here, Wanda." Wanda's eyes widened as she realized what had happened. The corrupted energy that had consumed Stark was now feeding off her magic, growing stronger with every attack she made. "We need a new plan," she shouted, backing away from Stark as the dark tendrils began to close in on her. Deadpool, still hacking away at the relentless mass of tendrils, glanced over. "Hey, I am a new plan kind of guy. How about we just blow the whole place up and see what happens?" Wanda hesitated. Then her eyes flickered with an idea. "I see, maybe not the whole place, but the core. If we can overload the device that's causing this, it might destabilize the corruption." Deadpool beheaded another tendril with a flourish. "Okay, I like it, but there's a core." Wanda's gaze locked onto Stark, or rather the pulsating dark energy at his chest. Dark gets inside him. He self-fused with it. Deadpool's grin widened. "Perfect, like a crack him open, like a pinata." Wanda nodded, her determination returning. "We'll need to time this perfectly. You distract him. I'll get in close and destroy the core." Deadpool saluted. "You got it, boss." He charged at Stark with his usual reckless abandon, leaping through the air and swinging his swords wildly. "Hey, Iron Man, bet you didn't expect to face the Chimichanga champion of the multiverse." Stark barely flinched as Deadpool's attacks bounced off his armor. "See, you're a fool. Wade Wilson, you can hurt me." Yeah. "Maybe not," Deadpool quipped, dodging a blast of energy. "Honey, but I am really annoying, and that's kind of my thing." As Deadpool kept Stark occupied, Wanda focused her energy, preparing for the final strike. She could feel the weight of the corruption pressing down on her, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand. With a sudden burst of speed, She closed the distance between herself and Stark. Her magic flared bright, and with a determined shout, she plunged her hands into the dark energy surrounding his chest. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. The tendrils stopped moving, the air went still, and even Stark's eyes widened in surprise. Wanda's magic began to tear through the corruption, unraveling the dark energy at its core. But the corruption fought back. Stark let out a furious scream as the dark energy writhed and lashed out, trying to consume Wanda. She gritted her teeth, pouring every ounce of her strength into the attack. Deadpool watched, his swords ready but feeling helpless as the battle between Wanda and the corruption unfolded. "See, Mama T, you got this." With one final burst of magic, Wanda shattered the core. The dark energy exploded outward in a blinding flash of light, and Stark's corrupted form disintegrated into nothingness. The tower around them began to crumble, the tendrils of dark energy fading away into dust. The oppressive weight in the air lifted, and for the first time since they'd arrived, the city felt still. Deadpool blinked, lowering his swords. "Where did we just win?" Wanda, panting and exhausted, gave him a weak smile. "Caliph for now." The device in Deadpool's sand pocket began to hum, and before either of them could react, the familiar sensation of being pulled through time and space hit them again. With a flash, they were gone. When they reappeared, the world around them was different once again. This time, the sky was dark, filled with storm clouds, and the ground beneath their feet was cracked and barren. They had escaped the corrupted world, but this new universe was no less hostile. "Great, just what I needed," Deadpool muttered. "Our more alternate universes can't, we just catch a break." Wanda shook her head. "We're not done yet. There's still more to fix." Deadpool sighed, twirling his swords lazily. Fine, let's get this over with. But after this, I am taking a long vacation, preferably somewhere with less existential crises." Wanda gave him a tired but grateful look. "Tired, thank you. Wait." Yeah, don't get all mushy on me," Deadpool replied, waving her off. "Fair, let's see, just find the next big bad and get home." Together, they set off into the stormy landscape, knowing that their journey through the multiverse was far from over.